I'm Adam with Northern Academy. We'd like to thank you for choosing NAT for all of your commercial driving and industrial safety training needs. If you have any questions about this video or would like to further inquire about any additional training, you can give us a call at 705-692-9222 or visit us at nat.ca. Welcome. So we're going to be performing a Schedule 1 inspection on the vehicle that you see behind me here. This inspection is for road test purposes using the Schedule 1. This is what you're going to have to perform or demonstrate for the examiner on the day that you go for your road test. The examiner is going to give you some random items that are chosen from their tablet or perhaps on paper, and you will be asked to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect the given items. Your first item will be an air brake item. The following three items will be performed on the exterior of the truck, and then you'll be required to enter the vehicle, perform an in-cab check, which does not use Schedule 1. Followed by the in-cab check, you will do two more randomly chosen interior inspection items that do use the schedule. We'd like to give a big thanks to the Assiginack Fire Department for allowing us to use their truck for this demonstration. So the first item that we're going to inspect is the cab doors. Follow along. First thing you're going to do when asked to demonstrate and describe how to inspect your cab doors, if it's done outside, or if you were asked to perform this while outside, you will simply open the door, tell the examiner that the door opened correctly, that it is secure, and that it closes correctly and stays closed. You will repeat this process on the other side of the vehicle. Once the inspection is done, you will refer to the schedule. If you are asked to inspect the doors while sitting inside the vehicle, you will simply open the door from the inside, tell the examiner it opens, you will close it, push against the door with your shoulder or somehow to make sure that it remains secure, and then tell the examiner that it works properly. Once this is done, you will refer to your schedule. You will find here on the left-hand side where it says cab doors, this is the line you're going to read from. You will say the defect codes for this test would be 2.1, occupant compartment door fails to open, is a minor defect, but the vehicle can still be driven. 2.2M, occupant compartment door fails to close securely, is a major defect. The vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate, and any of these defects, whether it's minor or major, would have to be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. Now we're going to move on to the next test. For the next test, we're going to inspect the exhaust system. Step 1, put exhaust into the system. We're going to start the truck. Now we'll head to the other side of the vehicle. What I'm looking for here is checking around the turbo to ensure that around all clamps, flex pipes, hoses and whatnot that I don't see or hear any signs of an exhaust leak. So again, inspecting around the exhaust output side of the turbo. Now we're going to move back here behind the cab where we can access some of the exhaust filtration system. Again, more tubes, clamps, and hoses. I'm looking inside for any signs of exhaust leaks. I don't hear or see any exhaust leaks, and I don't see any visible signs of black soot. All clamps and hoses seem to be secure and in their place. Lastly, I'm inspecting underneath the vehicle to ensure again I don't hear or see any exhaust leaks. Now we're going to head inside the cab. Lastly, you'll tell the examiner that you noticed that there was no exhaust leaks entering the occupant compartment. Now, we read our codes. So the defect codes for this test would be 10.1 exhaust leak. That's a minor defect, the vehicle can still be driven. 10.2M, however, says exhaust leak that causes exhaust gas to enter the occupant compartment would be a major defect and the vehicle's out of service and illegal to operate. Any of these defects, minor or major, we would have to record in our inspection book and report it to the operator. On to the next item. Now I'm going to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect the frame and the cargo body. You're going to begin here inspecting the frame rail, not the components that bolt or mount to it, but just the frame rail itself. You're inspecting for its general condition, looking for any signs of cracks, damage, any sagging, twisting, or bending of the frame, any exposed part of the frame that you can actually see, and any cargo body that is used to contain any freight or materials. So we're going to start up here. So I'm starting at the frame rail right here, inspecting for any signs of cracks or any damage. Nothing looks to be sagging or twisted or bent in any way. The side of the truck or the body, we can include the cargo body here, looks to be in good condition. All of the walls, compartments, and doors are all closed and latched properly, and I see no signs of damage, nothing but the normal wear and tear. Looking under here, in any exposed part of the frame that you can see, again, I see no signs of cracks, damage, or any sagging. Underneath the vehicle, if you can get down there that far, maybe you can see inside the wheel well as well. Again, no signs of any cracks or any damage. Towards the back of the vehicle, all walls, compartments, cargo compartments and whatnot, as I said, are all in good condition, just normal wear and tear, and the vehicle looks to be in overall good shape. And now you can refer to your schedule. So the codes for this test would be 11.1, damaged frame or cargo body. That's a minor defect. The vehicle can still be driven. 11.2M says visibly shifted, cracked, collapsing, or sagging frame member would be a major defect and the vehicle's out of service and illegal to operate. Any defects, whether minor or major, would have to be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. Now let's head to the next test. So for this test, I'm going to inspect the fuel system. Again, the examiner is going to say, I'd like you to demonstrate and describe how to inspect your fuel system. We're going to start with the fuel tank cap. Identify that the cap is present and that it is tight and secure. You're going to mention that the straps that you can see visibly here are in good condition and secured to the tank, and the tank itself is secured. And then have a look underneath the tank, in any visible areas on the ground. Say that you can't find any puddles or any fluid leaks on the ground. Now we're going to head over towards the engine. So in and around the engine area, we're going to mention that we don't see any saturation of fuel, I can't smell any fuel, and that again there's no drips, leaks, or any puddles underneath the engine area as well. Now this truck is only equipped with the one fuel tank, but if you were equipped with two fuel tanks, you would have to inspect the fuel tank on the other side, in the same manner that you inspected it on this side, which would include the cap is present, the cap is on tight, the straps are in good condition, and the tank is secure, and again there's no leaks or puddles on the ground underneath the tank. Then we refer to Schedule 1. So the codes for this test would be 12.1, missing fuel tank cap, would be a minor defect and the vehicle can still be driven. 12.2M and 12.3M both say insecure fuel tank and dripping fuel leak are major defects, the vehicle's out of service and illegal to operate. Any defects, whether it's minor or major, would have to be recorded in my inspection book and reported to the operator. Next test. So for this test, I'm going to inspect the glass and mirrors. Starting on the driver's side, the glass on this side if the window is up. The glass on this side is in good condition with no cracks or damage. The driver's side mirror is secure and both mirrors are also damage free. The windshield looks to be in good condition. Again, no cracks or damage and nothing obstructing our vision. On to the other side. On the other side of the vehicle, again, we're going to mention this side of the windshield looks to be in good condition with no cracks or any damage. The passenger side mirror is securely affixed to the body. Both mirrors are damage free, again with no cracks. And the passenger side window, if it was up, you'd also mention that there's no cracks or damage as well. And then all windows, mirrors, and glass are in good condition. Then we refer to Schedule 1. Code 14.1 and 14.2. Required mirror or window glass fails to provide the required view to the driver as a result of being cracked, broken, damaged, missing, or maladjusted. And required mirror or glass has broken or damaged attachments onto the vehicle body. Both of these are minor defects. The vehicle can still be driven, and any defects found, whether minor or major, I have to record it in my inspection book and report it to the operator. Next test. The next test, the examiner may ask you to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect the hydraulic brake system. Seeing as this is an air brake equipped vehicle, you would have to identify to the examiner that this is an air brake equipped truck. That if it was equipped with hydraulic, we'll use the power steering reservoir as an example. This is what you're going to tell her. This is an air brake system, but if we had hydraulic brakes, we'll use the power steering reservoir as an example, just like I just said. But you want to tell her this. You want to tell her or him that this is an air brake equipped truck. Because if you just go straight to the power steering fluid and you just start checking fluid levels, she might think, does he really think this is a hydraulic fluid brake equipped truck? So play it smart. Tell her this is an air brake equipped vehicle. If it was hydraulic brakes, I would check the reservoir. We'll use the power steering as an example. So first thing, fluid level is at an adequate level. If the reservoir is low, it cannot be less than a quarter full. Also, I would walk around the truck and inspect at all four corners for any hydraulic fluid leaks. Keep in mind, this is a verbal test only. Physically, you don't have to walk around the vehicle or enter the vehicle. You're just going to verbally tell her what you would be looking for. From the top, this is an air brake equipped vehicle. If it was hydraulic brake equipped, we would check the power steering. You will tell the examiner that this is an air brake system. We do not have hydraulics. But if it was a hydraulic equipped vehicle, we would check the fluid, and we'll use the power steering as an example. We would check the fluid level, stating that the fluid is at an adequate level, that if the reservoir was low, it cannot be less than a quarter. Also, and just verbally, you're going to tell the examiner that I would walk around the truck and check on the ground for any signs of hydraulic fluid leaks. Then again, verbally, you don't physically have to do it. You would walk inside or climb inside the truck and tell her that I would try the emergency brake to make sure that it works properly, that the brake pedal responds normally and that there's no fade or any sponginess, and that there are no warning lights illuminated on the dash other than an ABS light. But you can just simply say, I would look for any warning lights on the dash. Again, this is all verbal. Physically, the only thing you have to do is talk here next to the reservoir and tell her what it is you're looking for. Then we'll read the codes. 17.1. Brake fluid is below minimum indicated level. That would be a minor defect. The vehicle can still be driven. Major defects are parking brake is inoperative, brake boost or power assist is not operative, brake fluid leak, brake pedal fade or insufficient pedal reserve, activated warning device other than ABS, or brake fluid reservoir is less than a quarter full. These are all major defects, codes 17.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The vehicle would be out of service and illegal to operate, and any defect, whether it's major or minor, would have to be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. Next test. So now the examiner may ask you to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect your air suspension system. In this case, it is very difficult, if the vehicle is equipped with an airbag or an air suspension system, for us to access it. In the event where a component is not accessible, the examiner may choose a different inspection item or ask you to inspect it verbally. So in this case, it is a little difficult for us to access the suspension, but if we were equipped with an air suspension, this is what you would look for. First, you want to indicate that the air suspension bag is properly inflated. You want to mention that the airbag is properly mounted and secure as well. And because it is full of air, you want to mention that you do not hear any audible air leaks. After which you will inspect the condition of the bag for any signs of abrasions, bumps, cuts, any damage. You also want to mention that there's no patches to the bag and that there are no gashes or cuts that are deep enough to expose any cord or braid. So simply you can put or say, there's no damage to the bag, cuts, abrasions, patches, and I see no exposed wire or cord. Then you would read the codes. So this is the first code in the suspension section, 20.1. Air leak in air suspension system is a minor defect, but the vehicle can still be driven. 20.4 says damaged, patched, cut, bruised, cracked to braid, insecurely mounted or deflated airbag would be a major defect. The vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate. And any of these defects, minor or major, I'd have to record it in my inspection book and report it to the operator. Next test. So now the examiner may ask you to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect your leaf spring suspension system. If that's the case, you are only inspecting the leaves, not the other suspension components such as shocks, U-bolts, axles, bumpers, and main bolts and that, just the leaves. All the other components are for the next test. So, demonstrate and describe how you would inspect the leaf spring suspension system. First, we're going to identify how many springs we have. Here you have to try and be as touchy-feely as you can. So we're going to reach down, tell the examiner that we have a 3-spring system here. 1, 2, 3, and the top spring we're going to identify as our main spring. You'll tell the examiner that you're inspecting all spring leaves for any cracks or damage. I see that no springs are broken, especially the main spring, and there's no springs that are out of place or like shifted or touching or up against any other parts of the vehicle. Then you'll read your codes. 20.2. A broken spring leaf is a minor defect. The vehicle can still be driven. 20.5. Cracked or broken main spring leaf or more than one broken spring leaf in any spring assembly or 20.6, part of spring leaf or suspension is missing, shifted out of place, or in contact with another vehicle component. Both of those are major defects and the vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate. Any minor or major defects must be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. Now let's move on to the next test. Now the examiner may ask you to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect your suspension system fasteners. This is all the nuts and bolts that basically hold the suspension together. So the first thing we're going to inspect is our main fastener up here at the forward side of the leaf springs to make sure that it's properly shackled, in good condition, and secure. Then we're going to inspect both U-bolts, and you want to try and physically touch these. Both U-bolts are in good condition and properly secured as well. The shock here is properly secured and tight. Both the lower and upper shock mounts are secure. A little dirty now. And we are properly fastened and shackled at the rear of the suspension, and all fasteners are in good condition. Code time. 20.3, suspension fastener is loose, missing, or broken, is a minor defect, the vehicle can still be driven. 20.7, loose U-bolt is a major defect, the vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate, and any defects, minor or major, would have to be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. Next test. So now the examiner may ask you to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect your tire for proper inflation. First thing you're going to do is give it a kick. And you will tell the examiner that the tire is properly inflated and we can see that it's obviously not flat. Next, we're going to use our bare hand and just run your hand around the sidewall of the tire, around the bead, around the tread area as well, and tell the examiner that you're listening and feeling for any audible leaks. Again, on the inside sidewall, I don't feel or hear any leaks and the tire is properly inflated. And that's it. Now we read the schedule. 21.2, tire leaking. If leak cannot be heard, that's a minor defect, the vehicle can still be driven. But if the leak can be felt or heard, then the tire is to be treated as a flat. Therefore, 21.3, flat tire, is a major defect and the vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate. Any defects, minor or major, I would record it in my inspection book and report it to the operator. Next test. Now the examiner may ask you to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect tire tread and sidewall condition. In this test, there are 4 different inspection items that we have to look for. One is going to be general tire condition on both sidewalls and the tread area, for any exposed cord on the sidewalls and the tread area, for proper tread depth, and to make sure the tire is not contacting any other components of the vehicle. So your inspection will look a little something like this. Demonstrate and describe how you would inspect tire tread and sidewall condition. First, I'm looking at the sidewall areas, both the outer and the inner, for any abrasions, bumps, cuts. Same thing with the tread area. I see no chunks or gouges taken out, looks to be in good condition. I'm also inspecting all 3 areas, sidewalls, tread area, and the inner sidewall for any signs of cords, wire, or braid that may be exposed as well, and I see none. Next, we want to make sure that we have at least 3 millimeters of tread depth across all grooves, and we want to ensure that the tire is not touching or contacting any other component of the vehicle. Now, do you guys notice how I'm hands-on? My head is moving around, I'm inside and I'm outside. This shows that I'm properly demonstrating the inspection. Many times with many students, I see that they just stand here and they touch and they point and they talk, but they're not physically doing a proper inspection. Get in there, sell it, look at both sidewalls, tread area, keep your head moving, keep your hands moving, and all should be well. So, once you finish with the tire contact, schedule 1. 21.1, damaged tread or sidewall of tire is a minor defect, the vehicle can still be driven. 21.4, tire tread depth is less than the wear limit. 21.5, tires in contact with another tire or any vehicle component other than a mud flap. 21.7, tire has exposed cords in the tread or outer sidewall area. All of these are major defects. The vehicle would be placed out of service and illegal to operate. And any defects, minor or major, would have to be recorded in the inspection book and reported to the operator. Now, if you were asked to inspect the tire tread and sidewall condition on the drive axle, maybe you have an exposed set of duals. It may be a little more difficult with this truck because it's so enclosed with the body. You also want to mention that the tires are not touching each other when you're looking for contact, and that the minimum tread depth requirement on a drive tire is 1.5 millimeters. All other inspection procedures are the same. On to the next test. Okay, now the examiner may ask you to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect the wheel hubs. Here is the hub, and what we're going to look for is the hub security, making sure that the oil level is adequate and that there's no leaks out here on the outside of the hub. They're also going to require you to look on the inside of the wheel assembly. Inside, we're looking for any signs of oil leaks, which could indicate that we have a bad wheel seal or any hub or potential bearing failure. So the inspection will look something like this. Demonstrate and describe how you would inspect your wheel hubs. First, wheel hub is secure. Oil level we can see is adequate, and I see no leaking. On the inside of the wheel, again, I see no oil leaks anywhere that could indicate that we have a bad wheel seal or we have any potential hub or bearing failure. Then you read your codes. Codes are 22.1, hub oil below minimum level when fitted with sight glass, and 22.2, leaking wheel seal. Both are minor defects and the vehicle can still be driven. 22.5, evidence of imminent wheel hub or bearing failure is a major defect and the vehicle is out of service and illegal to operate, and any of those defects, whether it's minor or major, would have to be recorded in my inspection book and reported to the operator. Next test. So now I'm going to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect your wheel fasteners. In this case, we have some decorative caps on, but we're still going to tell the examiner what we would be looking for. First thing, we want to ensure that all wheel fasteners are properly secured, properly tight, nothing is missing and nothing is loose. I wouldn't see, or I can't see, any signs of looseness, like any shiny metal from behind the washer, any rust trails protruding out from the stud. Everything looks to be in good condition and secure. Now we're also going to inspect for any leaks on the outside of the wheel, any oil leaks, or any leaks on the inside, which could indicate that we either have a bad wheel seal or any potential hub or bearing failure. Now the reason why we're inspecting this again on the fastener test is because that code, 22.5, is repeated 3 times amongst 3 different tests. The wheel hub, the wheel fasteners, and the wheel rim. So again, there's no leaks on the outside or on the inside that can indicate we have a bad wheel seal or any hub or bearing failure. Then you're going to read your codes. Here we have 22.3, wheel has loose, missing, or ineffective fastener. It's a major defect. And 22.5, evidence of imminent wheel hub or bearing failure, also a major defect, and they're both major defects, vehicles out of service, legal to operate, and any defects, minor or major, have to be recorded in the inspection book, reported to the operator. Last test. Now I'm going to demonstrate and describe how you would inspect the wheel rim. We're going to start by inspecting the outside of the rim for any cracks or damage. Looks to be in good condition, properly centered and mounted, and all attaching parts are secure. On the inside of the wheel rim, again, looking for any cracks or damage. I see none, looks to be in good condition, and there's no oil leaking on the inside or the outside of the wheel assembly that could indicate we have any bad wheel seal or any signs of hub or bearing failure. Codes. 22.4, damaged, cracked, or broken wheel rim or attaching part. And 22.5, evidence of imminent wheel hub or bearing failure. Both of these are major defects, vehicles out of service and illegal to operate. And any defects, minor or major, I'd have to record it in my inspection book and report it to the operator. That concludes all of the exterior inspection Schedule 1 items. Best of luck.